Hi friends, welcome to my channel. My name is Juan. I'm a yarn addict, hence the name Juan the Yarn Addict, and I want to thank each and every one of you guys for stopping by to check out my video today. This is a yarn and crochet channel where we talk about all things yarn and all things crochet, so if that interests you, please sit back and watch this video because today, my friends, I offer you another session of Whipping It with Juan. Before we begin, I would like to say a huge hi, hello, and welcome to all of my new subscribers. I'm super happy to have each and every one of you guys here. I hope you enjoy your stay and continue to watch more of my videos. I'm super happy and thank you for being here. So, what is Whipping It with Juan? Whipping It with Juan is literally a session where we sit down, we work on our whips, we're crochet buddies for 45 minutes to an hour, and we get a lot of work done and a lot of talking. So if that interests you, sit back and watch because it's a lot of fun. So what is on my hook? Let me tell you. Scrap cakes. I have scrap cakes on the hook. One of the hooks anyway. And so I'm continuing to work on my corner to corner panel. I have 4 of them that I need to put together. I'm halfway through. And so, yes, this is what this panel is looking like. I have ends, but it's okay. It's for the house. It's okay. I'll trim them later. I'm not sewing them in. It's fine. Like I said, it's for the house. The best blankets are the ones that are cozied up and, you're not really looking at the perfections or the imperfections. It just keeps you warm and cozy, and that's what this is going to do for me. So, if this is the first time that you're seeing this whip, let me just fill you in. So I'm creating 4 panels. They're rectangular panels, and I'm going to configure them into a shape of a diamond, and then I'm going to join them down the center, going both ways, and then I'm going to frame the project in Modern Granny. So here is a completed rectangle, just like that. It's 2 feet wide by 3 feet deep, and so that's a panel. And so, like I said, I'm going to join everything, make it a diamond, do all of that. So I'm using these scrap cakes that I put together, and no rhyme, no reason. I just take all of my oddball yarns and I hop between different balls and I create these scrap cakes. So as far as I understand, from what I remember, I don't have any repeats in the cakes. So once a color is done, we're moving on to another color. And as I wound up these cakes, I just, like I said, no rhyme, no reason. I went around 3 times for this color, 20 times for this color. So it's very haphazard in terms of like color changes. So yeah, that's where we're at. So let me slide back so you can see what I'm doing and all that. So, oh, and the hook that I'm using is a 6mm crochet hook. This is a Furls Odyssey hook. And I really enjoy working with this hook. It's a lot of fun. It's ergonomic. It's all the things. All right, so where are we at? Okay, here we are. I lost my place. So, all right, I have my project here. I'm about to change colors. Right now I'm on this like salmon color. And what color's next? It's gray. Okay. So, yeah. I did my counts and measurements. I have to go down the stairs, turn around and go up the stairs, and then the length is complete. Now, I'll begin closing this in. So I see the light at the end of this tunnel. I'm super excited. So I have my coffee, Dunkin' Donuts hazelnut. I'm a huge fan. If you're not aware of that, let me let you know that I love Dunkin' Donuts hazelnut coffee with caramel macchiato creamer, sugar-free because I am diabetic. So I drink lots of coffee. I love it. It's great. Okay. I think I'm a descendant of Juan Valdez, but don't tell anyone. Okay, so we're off to the horse race. So my corner to corner project would have been done, but I've had so much on the hook over this last month. So much on the hook. I did 1, 2, 3 blankets, several scarves, a few shawls. I did an amigurumi that took an entire month. I'm in the middle of a crochet along. Actually, 2 of them. So yeah, Lots of things on the hook. So I would have been done this, but I had to sit this to the side and focus on some of the other things, which is fine. It is what it is. That's why they're in baskets. So about my baskets, right? I get a lot of questions like, Juan, how many WIPs do you allow yourself to carry? I don't allow myself to carry any. You know, this is just what I get in emails and things. So I used to have 12 baskets. And so once my baskets were full, I took on no more WIPs. But see, that was before I was a channel. Now that this is a thing, I went out and bought more baskets. I bought more baskets, friends. I'm sorry, you know. Actually, I'm not sorry. I love having lots of things on the hook. I love being constantly busy. I love focusing on different things at the same time. I didn't buy that many in addition to the 12 I already had. I think I bought 6 more. So 18 baskets. It's fine. It's for the house. It's for the house. And besides, I have WIP baskets in every room in my house except for the kitchen. The dining room, the living room, my room, the guest bedroom, the squirrel's nest next door, and the rest of them are in here. So, yeah. Actually, I think I've shown my WIPs on one of the episodes. Was it a podcast episode? But see, back then when I showed them, I didn't have that many. I think I only had like 4 or 5. I'm not sure. It's okay. And then I was cleaning the other day, going through my yarn and things, and I found more WIPs. I had no idea. I'm like, that's where that went. Has that ever happened to you? Like, you lose a WIP, you unearth it from something, and then you're like, oh my goodness, I was looking for that. That was me. There's this red and black sweater that I was putting together. It was a men's sweater done in half double crochet, and I think it was the end of last winter. I put it in this like purple tote, and I put a whole bunch of yarn on top of it, in front of it, next to it, and I forgot about the purple tote. Well, weeks went by and I said, what happened to that red and black sweater? I know I was putting it together. I had the front and back panel done. I had the one arm done. I had the neck completed. I only needed to do the other arm. Well, I was going through my yarns. I happened upon this purple container. I open it up. I'm like, oh my goodness, that's where it was this whole entire time. Oh my. So anyway, that's on the hook, but summer's right around the corner. I don't want to work with that heavy sweater in the summer, so it's going to have to sit in a basket until the weather allows me to sit with it, you know? I mean, even with me being in Delaware, you know, we see all the seasons. And so when summer gets here, it gets really, really hot. And yes, I could sit in this room with the central air and all that, but yeah, I'd rather work on other things. If I'm being honest, like if I finish a sweater, I want to be able to wear it. So like, yeah, I only have the sleeve left anyway, so I'm going to wait until the fall. I can whip the sleeve up and then put it on. That's what I want to do. Right now, it's going to be about things that I don't necessarily have to wear, you know? So, yeah. And I've been getting into the cottons lately. Well, cotton blends, let me correct myself, because this cake that I'm looking at down here, it's Karen Cotton Cakes. It's a 60-40 blend. I really like it because it gives me that soft feel, but yet I do have a little bit of that roughness feel in there. It's a perfect blend for me, you know. I like it. I'm not really sensitive to the hard and soft yarns. To me, yarn is yarn, and I know there's a huge difference between the yarns and things, but when it comes to putting it on the hook and getting it done, give me burlap. I'll make whatever I need to make. I don't care, you know. But the Karen Cotton Cakes, I'm really into them. They're really cool. This one is Calico Flowers. This is what I'm making my spring cowl with. So I just finished taping week 2. It's going to be uploaded and all that tonight. I'm still on the first cake. I'm still on the first cake, and it's 2 full weeks of the cow recorded. I have a little bit left, maybe like, let me see, what is this? This is 8.8 ounces. I probably have 2 ounces left of that cake. 2 weeks done. I can't believe it. So great. And my cowl is just a throw. It's not like a blanket or anything. And I wanted to make my throw with a cotton blend because, you know, it's a seasonal thing. Springtime, it's warmer. You don't want that heavy blanket on you. Just something light to throw on you on those chilly nights. So, yeah, it's just the throw. I'm estimating the measurement to be like 50 inches wide by 60-ish inches long. So it's rectangular. It's not square. It's not a square. It's a rectangle. In my opinion, I could have gone longer with the rectangle part, but I didn't. Because it's not just for me, you know? So I had to think about everybody who would be making it. So, yeah, it's turning out so nice. And a large part of that has to do with the fact of just the stitches that came up on the wheel. Yes, I'm spinning the wheel for the stitches each week. That's why I'm not so far ahead. Now, I completed a whole blanket for the spring cow, but literally days before that was supposed to roll out, I put feelers out to the audience, and everyone was just into the wheel situation. And I said, you know what? I'm adventurous. Let's do this. So I pulled the wheel out, and here I am, yet again, another season. I'm making the blanket as I go instead of having it ready like I, intended. But that's okay. I mean, I could have said, you know what? We'll hold off on that until something else, because I have it completed and here it is. And this is what it looks like. And, that was the goal. Just to have a completed project to show you what the end result would be. But the audience loves the wheel, friends. They like the idea of not knowing what comes up from week to week and then just making it work, which is good. I mean, I like the excitement part of it. I mean, yeah, it keeps me on my toes and it challenges me, because now I'm really paying attention to my stitch counts and making sure everything lays properly. And, I'll tell you what, before I started my channel, I didn't care about stitch counts. I got my hook, I got my yarn, and I just did what I wanted to do. But now I'm crocheting for others, not just for myself. So it's pushing me to a whole new level where now I have to plan out my stitch counts and make sure everything lays down, because people who watch me need to know these things, So, super exciting. Anyway, week 2 is done, and now as the weeks progress, the project gets bigger, which means I have to start sooner. So, week 2 releases tonight at midnight, or early in the morning, depending on how long it takes to upload. And tomorrow, I'm going to start week 3. I just want to be ahead of the game, that's all. I don't want to wait until the last minute and be like, oh my goodness, it's taking forever to upload, and then the audience is waiting for the cow to drop and it's not out there. I just don't want that for them, For me, I'll be at work. I'll be at the day job. So it has to be done before I go to work. So, okay. I'll tell you what, this gray next to this coral color isn't half bad. I mean, collectively, it's just a whole hodgepodge, but that's the beauty of it. I like the idea of this. And I'll tell you what, when you build these scrap cakes, the more no rhyme, no reason there is, the better the scrap cake. I think it's phenomenal where you come across pieces in a cake where you have like a neon yellow to like a very muted taupe, and then it jumps to a bright red and then a black. The more random the colors, the better I think it turns out. That's just in my opinion. And lesson learned with, some of these. So if you look down here on the corner, there's multiple rows, like a lot of rows of the same color. I should have changed the colors more frequently. So When I go to make more cakes, I'll know to change frequently. So that's fine. You live and you learn. That's all you can do, right? So I think once these panels are done, I'm going to do another WIPn it with Juan where I'm joining the panels together just to kind of show how I do it. It's not reinventing the wheel by any means, but I'm sure there's someone out there that's wondering, like, how does Juan join those panels together? You know, and honestly, friends, I keep it as simple as humanly possible. I mean, we're not performing brain surgery, but we're just trying to make it work. You know, functionality is so important with these things. So, like when I join my granny squares, I do single crochet, chain 2, single crochet, and it works perfectly. You know, for this, it's the same thing. Single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. And the joining color is probably going to be a color that matches the frame. So I have to think about what colors I want for the modern granny. It's going to be probably black with the scrap cakes in the round. I think that's what I'm going to do. That's going to look so nice. And then I'm going to have the joining color of these panels in black. Because why not? It's for the house. I love having scrappy blankets, especially in the wintertime. Just grab 2 or 3 of them from the closet and then just snuggle up around them, watching, TV and things. It's so nice. I mean, of course, we have all of those beautiful blankets that took months and months and months to make, but these are cool too. Some of them are so ugly, they're beautiful. I mean, seriously, you look at it and you're like, I would never have that in my house. And then you tilt your head and you're like, well, maybe I would. It's just so bizarre and so far-fetched that I just might have it as like an art piece. Oh, it's so good. I love it. It's all the things. Anyway, so I think once this C2C is done, the next thing I want to do is run 2 of them side by side together. 2 strands, corner to corner, but not in panels. I actually just want to run 2 together and just do maybe I'll do 2 long rectangles and then join it modern granny. I don't know. My brain is thinking of all the things. Because I just put out a tutorial for the modern granny rectangle, maybe I can run 2 scrap cakes together. Yeah, I can run 2 scraps together and then do the black in between the rows there. Oh, that's gonna look nice. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do that. It might be another project. It might be the project that, I don't know. I do have plenty of empty whip baskets. So I don't count males or cows. So I have some crochet alongs, like obviously the spring crochet along. I don't count that. I'm also doing Sophie's, which it's sitting right in front of me. I don't count that one either. So my whips are just my own projects. So we're almost done the row. There's a lot of fiber in the air in this room. I went through 3 air purifiers. I have to do some research and find one that actually is like industrial sized, because my house is turning into a yarn den. Like this room here, I mean, there's this wall piece here. It doesn't go all the way down. I have a door down there. But I have this wall piece here filled with yarn. All of my natural fibers are here. And then on this side of the room, there's a closet. And then in front of the closet, I mean, you have boxes and bins and things, all yarn. And then in the next room, don't even get me started. Floor to ceiling, all the way around the room, minus like doorways and walkways and things. It's all yarn. It's all yarn. And then I have some in the living room. I have yarn now in the makes room where it was only supposed to be finished objects and like blankets and things. Yeah, we now have yarn in there. And then my room and the guest bedroom all have yarn. So with all of the yarn in this house, you know, we need air purifiers because we're walking around like we sound like we have colds constantly, but we're not. I mean, we're just stuffy from all the fibers, you know. So I definitely need some air purifiers in here to clean the air, get the fibers out, so I can walk around and breathe normally. Anyway, I think this is the last row of the increase, and now I can start closing, which is good. That means the project will start to shrink and the rows will get done a lot faster, which is good. Yes, that's good. So I'm trying to think how many months before Siren's Atlas, because I wanted Siren's Atlas to be like the summer project. I didn't announce it as like a crochet along or anything. I just wanted it to be like a summer project. I did want it to be a Cal, honestly, but I needed to get permission from the author. And I reached out to her and didn't get a response, but another channel reached out to her and got a response. And in so many words, she said no, because she's got videos of all of the squares somewhere. I have to figure out where that is. But she said, you know, there's video tutorials already for all the squares. And so, yes, I think what's going to happen is I'm going to do the squares, and then during like a podcast episode or like, I don't know, a video where I'm showing you guys all of my WIPs, I'll pull out the squares and talk about each one and, you know, my experience and all that, just to kind of show it off. But as long as there's video tutorials already out there, there's really no sense in me recording anything other than just talking about the square that I've done. So, yeah. I was saddened to hear that, honestly, because I really like the Siren's Atlas project. I started playing around with it, and it would have made really awesome videos, you know, content. But that's okay. I can talk about it until the cows come home. I like that for me and for us, you know. That's cool. I'm glad that we did get an answer, though, because, you know, to not get an answer and always wonder, like, what if, you know? But I'm glad she responded, and we have to respect her wishes, you know? So, that's fine. I still love the book. I think it's great. Shelley Husband is the author. And she's got a few other books. She's got The Cove. She's got Siren's Atlas. She's got another granny book. It's like a granny square situation. She's got some really great books. If that's your thing. Oh, I'm on pink. I'm on pink next to the gray, actually, I think. I think gray and pink really complement each other. And this is Loops and Threads Soft Classic. I can tell just by feeling it. And the gray was Karen in the 1 pound. So that's nice. I can it's nice that I can feel the yarn and know where it came from. Anyway, so she said no, so I'm just going to talk about the squares as I do them. And then I'm going to, you know, make an announcement, like a formal announcement, and let everyone know, like, listen, I tried asking, I didn't get through, but another channel got through. She screenshot the response and sent it back to me. And so, yeah, I'm so happy I got an answer, though. Because a lot of times these authors don't even respond. So, and I also believe Shelley Husband has a YouTube channel. So feel free to check her out. Yeah. So there is that. So if I can't do a cow for the summer, like the Siren's Atlas as a cow, I'm still just going to do it as like a summer project and count it as like a cow. Because for the first year, I said to myself, for the first year of my channel, I want to have seasonal projects, crochet alongs, make alongs, and things. So this Siren's Atlas isn't going to be a crochet along, but it could be a make along where we just do our makes and then show them off to each other. Yeah, this one's going to be a mal, which is fine. We love that for us. We love a good mal every now and then. We love a good mal. Anyway, today is May the 10th, 2024. I don't know when you're going to be watching this, but Michael's has a really great sale going on right now, 40% off all regular price items, and their yarn is regular price right now. So, Loops and Thread Soft Classic, $3.99 original price, 40% off of that. It's so good. It's all the things, $2.39. So, I'm going to place an order. Friends, I don't need yarn. I don't need it. But when it's like that price, I don't know when it's going to be that price again. You know, something tells me that, you know, they mark these prices to these prices. I mean, they mark the items to the price, you know, to deplete their inventory and things, supply and demand. You know, they have a lot of yarn, so they're trying to get rid of it. But what happens when they run out of yarn? The price will go up. And then here everyone's paying $5, $6 for something that right now I can get for $2 something. So that's kind of my thought process. Get it while it's cheap right now, because when it's not cheap, you're going to wish you got it when it was cheap. You know? So I keep talking about the whole retirement thing. I think when I retire, I'm going to go on a no-buy unless it's like new to me. I'm not going to buy stock yarn. I call my value yarns stock yarn. I love my value yarns because you can make wonderful things with them. But I like to have a lot of them because you can make so many different things. And I want to get to a point with my yarnery, my yarnscape, that like I have enough backlog of yarn that I don't have to worry about running to go get white or running to go get black. I want to just have it so I don't have to worry about buying it in the future. So if you take care of your yarn, it will last you a long, long time. So I can tell you this because in the closet, I still have yarns that belonged to my grandmother and my aunt before they passed away. And they passed away in the 90s. So I am still sitting on that yarn because I've been taking care of it. So when it comes to me purchasing yarn, just take care of it, you know? There's different ways that you can storage your yarn so that it lasts a long time. You know, there are short-term storage solutions and long-term storage solutions. I know that sounds like all techie and things, but like if you're storing it for a short period of time, you can literally like vacuum bag it if it's temporary. You know, you don't want to leave it that way long-term because the yarns have like dye particles in them, and then with no oxygen it breaks down and then it damages the yarn. So you do want to have some sort of oxygen happening inside. You know, so I did a bagging video where I was sitting on the yarns getting all the air out, you know. For me, that was a temporary storage solution because I needed space, you know, but long term, I have to change that up. So the best way to storage your yarn for long-term storage is to take, you know, take the bag, open it back up, get some air in there, but make sure you punch a hole or two with like a hole puncher. Punch a hole or two in the bag if it doesn't already have it. Put your yarn back in there, seal it up, and then put it in an airtight container. That's the best way to store your yarn. You know, you don't have to put it in the bag either. For me, it's preference, because when I reach for the yarn, I want to be able to pull the bag and move 6 or 7 or 4 or 5 at a time, especially when you have thousands of skeins of yarn. Moving more than one is efficient, you know. But if your yarn scape is small, and let's say what I have behind me is all you have, then there's no need for you to bag up your yarn. But when you have thousands of skeins of yarn, you need to bag it up. It needs to be systematic. You need to have some sort of organization. I mean, there's channels where you look at their yarn scape behind them and it's all bagged up. Classic example, Krista over at the Secret Yarnery. When you look behind her, her whole wall is bagged up in plastic. Yeah. And it just makes sense, because when you move the yarn, you're moving 4 or 5 at a time. It just makes sense, you know. And her bags all have air in them because I order from Ice Yarns. I'm an affiliate, and you know, everything that I order from them has holes in the bag, and it's just so that it can breathe, you know. So I think that just being able to store your yarn correctly will allow you to have yarn for a really long time. So get the deals and steals now while you still can. You know, it doesn't expire. It's not like eggs. So get what you get, pack it up, and, you know, keep track of it so you don't continue buying the same thing over and over again. I've done that. I swore I was always running out of charcoal. So charcoal is my second favorite color behind aubergine, which is right there. Can you see the charcoal? It's right there. These two. I love it so much. There's 2 cubbies of charcoal, and it's packed. Like, you see 9, right? But behind it, it's stacked to, like, it's all smushed in there. So I love charcoal. Anyway, I have that. I have a couple of totes. I have a lot of charcoal. Anyway, I kept forgetting that I had what I had, you know, so I kept buying it. And had I just kept track of what I had, I wouldn't have been, I mean, I wouldn't be sitting on so many skeins of charcoal yarn. So my advice is keep track of what you have, you know. So, all right, let's see here. All right. Just one stripe of pink so far. I have a little bit of pink to go, and I think after that, it's going into fleck yarn. Okay. I sound really stuffy. I'm telling you, it's the fibers in the air. I need a good air purifier. I have to do some research. I want to look at Consumer Reports and see, like, what they recommend. My mom, she says, Juan, just crack the window. I said, but Ma, it's raining outside. You know, I don't want the moisture to come in here. It's airtight, you know. And she's like, yeah, you're right, but would you rather be all stuffed up, or would you rather be able to, like, breathe? And I said, yes, Ma, of course, I would love to be able to breathe. However, my yarn, the moisture, it cannot happen. I don't have any of this bagged up, you know. I just don't want my yarn getting moist. Oh, Juan, what are you doing? I'm so silly. So here I am sitting with a stuffed up nose and all, trying to keep a clear throat. It's fine. It is what it is. Sometimes I go out front. You know, I sit out front and, you know, breathe, clear everything out before coming back in. Anyway, so my goal here is to have this completed before the end of May, which I think I can do. I do have I have an asymmetrical scarf that I'm finishing up. I decided how I'm going to finish that, which is great. I thought about doing something like some sort of design across the bottom part of that triangle. But I changed my mind. Like, I have fillet going throughout, like one row of windows, two row of windows, one row, back and forth and back and forth. Someone sent me an email and suggested that maybe what I need to do is do windows across the bottom, a couple rows of windows. That way I have somewhere I can tuck the end piece in without it like falling out and things. I said, you know what? That's genius. That's so good. It's such a great idea. I said, it's so good, in fact, that I'm going to actually do it. So thank you for the idea. I didn't catch the person's name, though. I'm really bad with names. I wish I could be better, but I'm not. I'm not good at names. It takes me a while to remember a name. For the one store that I worked in, it took 2 months for me to remember everyone's name on demand. Like when I saw them, to call them their name and get it right the first time, yeah, it took about that long. We all have our things, friends, We're not perfect. For me, I'm just bad at names. Unless it's yarn. If it's yarn, I'll remember the first time I look at it, or the first time I feel it. I have that kind of memory, but there's a piece missing, and there's a crayon missing out of that crayon box. I don't know where it is. Maybe it's under the sofa. I don't know. I'm missing a color out of the crayon box. I can't seem to remember people's names, but I can remember yarn. I don't know. I'll tell you what, in the last 7 months since I started my channel, I've never crocheted this much in my entire life. And I crocheted a lot before I started my channel. Like now it's on hyper overdrive, and it's been this way for months. And I don't mind it. I'm totally here for it. Like I do my warm-up in the morning with my arms. I do warm-ups from like my elbows to my fingers, both arms. Every now and then I will lay down with a heating pad wrapped around both of my arms to just, nothing wrong with them, just, to pamper them a little bit. I need them in their top performing shape. I have a lot of things to hook. So, so yeah, you take care of your hands, they'll take care of you. And so, yeah, I'm happy about the fact that, I've crocheted as much as I have. I can honestly tell you that I'm a better crocheter now than I was 7 months ago. I mean, all I really loved to do when I started my channel was like blankets, hats, and scarves. But coming on here, like I learned about wearables, I learned about, oh my goodness, different kinds of scarves, different kinds of hats, and not just from content creators that are already here, but from the viewers, the comments. So, because I read all the comments, and although I may not respond to all of them, I do read them, and a lot of the suggestions that I read have actually happened on my channel. So, for instance, Cambridge Nights, it's a hat and scarf set that actually came, the idea of making that hat and scarf set in gray and in like a blue came from a viewer. I mean, the stitch that I used was my idea, but the whole idea behind the colors and the hat and scarf, I mean, I wouldn't have thought that, so yeah, that's why I read all the comments. And I may not respond, like I said, I may not respond to all of them, but I do, like I let it sink in, when I read it. The good, the bad, the in-between. That's what happens when you're in the public eye, Just anybody can pull you up and watch you and then offer, unsolicited advice and opinions and things, and it's fine. Oh, I thought Fleck was next. Okay, well, we have a little bit of this lavender, which is nice next to the pink. It's giving me Easter vibes. Wait a minute, I lost track of what I was doing. Hold on. Oh, we're slipping. Okay, slip stitch. Okay, we're good now. Thought I was losing track of my mind, but we're good. So, yeah, I feel like once I have this panel done, I can see the home stretch, you know. I think what I'm going to do is, instead of starting another whip, after this is done, I'm actually going to just look around and finish my whips. So long as I have the spring cowl and Sophie's happening, yeah, I just want to clean up all of the whips, get them all done. This is turning out nice. Look at that. So nice for the house. For the house. So yeah, I have this thing, friends, right? So my mom is my biggest supporter. I always say that, like, she's my biggest cheerleader. She's my biggest supporter. She caught wind. She first heard of me mentioning, you know, a subscriber count by my birthday a while back. It was during a Sunday live. I had mentioned it. And that's all she's talking about now. She's like, what do you have to do to, you know, get to your goal? Think about your goals, Juan. You know, goal, goal, goal. She raised me to be a goal-oriented person, which is fine. I love it, but like, she applies pressure. And yeah. So everything I do, I have that little voice in my head, you know, and I wonder to myself, like, am I going to hit that goal? And what happens if I don't? You know, is it okay? Of course it's okay if I don't hit my goal. But it's good to have a goal, right? You know, we can reassess and figure out plans if we don't hit that goal. By the way, friends, my goal is to get to 50K by my birthday. So my birthday is July 31st, and it's May, and I'm less than 20K until my birthday. I don't know. It's just something fun to look forward to. So if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. But it's fun to have a goal and work towards it, you know? So I think even if I don't hit the goal, friends, it's been a phenomenal year so far for me. And I just want to continue pushing and having fun, you know? That's first and foremost. We need to enjoy what it is that we're doing. And I am so far. So there's that. This here is Impeccable in the colorway Lavender. And this is from Michaels. Yep. It's weird how I know that. It's fine. I think I need to plan a little better when I make my scrap cakes, because I put all 4-weight yarns together, but I'm not really thinking about the thickness of the 4-weight yarns. So I think I need to pay closer attention to that when I'm making my scrap cakes, because I don't know if it's going to impact the design either positive or negative, but if it's consistent, I don't even have to consider it. I don't have to worry about it, you know? But for corner to corner, I think it's fine. I'm curious, for those of you guys who are working on your whips, do you guys get far from listening to me? Like, I know when I am listening to other channels while I crochet, I get lost in their conversation, you know? But for me, I mean, me sitting here for you guys, I wonder, like, is that the case? Or do you, like, stop working on your whip and you just sit and watch? I always wondered that. Like, what is it like watching me work on a whip? I know some people reached out and said, well, Juan, I don't watch you at all. I just put you on and press play, turn you all the way up, and I cook my dinner or I clean the house. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, whatever floats your fancy, you know? Whatever makes you happy makes me happy. And so I'm totally okay with it. But I wonder, for those of you guys that sit down and crochet, because I do get messages too, where there's people that will sit and wait all day for my video to pop up just so that they have someone to crochet with, you know. And there's other people that do this, but they wait for me. And that's why I continue to do this, because people enjoy this. Just this whole sit down and let's crochet thing, you know, talk about yarn, talk about experiences with yarn and all the things, you know. Some channels, you know, they go off and talk about things that are not yarn related, and I think that's cool too. We need variety, friends, you know. So I enjoy all of it. It doesn't matter what you talk about. Just talk about something while I hook away. You know, and then I'll stop and be like, oh my goodness, keep going, the story's good. Tell us all the things, keep going, I'm nosy, I want to know what happened to the neighbor, what did she say? No, tell me what the neighbor said. Don't go telling me about that yarn you bought last week. Tell me what the neighbor said. That's important. I really do say things like that when they're talking. Oh yeah. I'm like, man, that was a good story. Why did you change it up? My goodness. So if any of you guys want to, you know, want me to talk about something in particular, whether it's like hooks or yarn or whatever, it doesn't matter. Sound off in the comments. And then what I'll do is, it's just topics, right? You don't have to ask me questions or anything. Just give me topics to talk about. Because listen, friends, like I mentioned this before, give me a skein of yarn and I'll talk about it for 30 minutes. I can drag out a conversation about one skein of yarn for a half hour. I've done it. That's how I know. I challenged myself. I said, here's this Red Heart with Love fruit punch. How long can I talk about this skein of yarn? And it was 26 and a half minutes. True story. 26 and a half minutes I talked about one skein of yarn. So it's possible, friends. Oh, this is Impeccable Fleck. It's a thinner 4-weight yarn. Why did I make that gesture? I'm so sorry. I was going like, I mean, the thickness is changing, you know. This is a thinner 4-weight yarn, which if you've ever used Impeccable Fleck, you know what I'm talking about. The recommended hook for this yarn is a 5mm hook, and I am using a 6. So that should tell you everything you need to know right there. I made a hexi-cardi with this yarn. Yes, I did. I don't know if I showed it on the channel, but yep, I did. When was that? Was that February? I think that was in February I made that. Yep. I taught my mom how to make one as well. She doesn't like how it turned out. I'm like, Mom, that's how it's supposed to look. She's like, but it's so boxy. I'm like, who cares? It's for the house. She says, I care. I'm like, but why? I just taught you how to do something with your favorite, you know, stitch, the granny stitch. She's like, no, Juan. No, I don't wear hats, I don't wear scarves, and I don't like this hexi-cardi. I'm like, would you believe that, like, it's all over the internet right now? Like, everyone and their mother is making these hexi-cardis. And she's like, well, good for them. Let them have it. I'll stick to my granny square blankets. I'm like, okay. Whatever makes you happy, Ma. It's fine by me. And she's like, yes, and my blankets are for the house, Juan. They're for the house. Oh, I love it when she does that to me. My goodness. So I was going through all of my old photos and videos and things from years ago. And yeah, she's just as sassy now as she was back then. Not a single iota less. She's the same exact way. If anything, I think she's spicier now than she was back then. You know, now she doesn't really care. She's like, I am who I am. I'm going to say what I want. I'm 80 years old. What are you going to do about it? I'm 80. I'm 80 years old woman. 80-year-old woman. What are you going to do to an 80-year-old woman? I'm going to say what I want, and that's it. I'm like, okay. You can't really argue with, with a woman of that age. She's lived her life. She's said and done all the things. So I'm just taking her wisdom for what it is and appreciating every moment of it. Yeah, so there's the black. Anyway. Okay, friends. So that is going to be it for this Whipping It with Juan session. We got quite a bit accomplished. My hook just fell off the shelf. Let me see. Where did you go? Okay. So yeah, we got pretty far on that cake. It's the middle one at the top there. Yeah. Anyway, if you really enjoy this, please hit the like button. Yeah, I'd really appreciate that. Thummies are free. And then, of course, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, or if you're not subscribed, give me a chance. Subscribe to my channel. I'd love to have you. And then, of course, hit the notification bell to stay updated with me and my channel. I go live every Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with my mother. And, yeah, we spend a little bit of our time with everyone on the YouTube streets. We just, hang out and have a good time. If that is of interest to you, come and hang out with us. Say hi. We'd love to have you. So that is it for this session. And until the next one, friends, take care. Bye-bye.